forcing errors. The two hitters with the most chances for the Gauchos today, both Tian Shan and Ryan Wilcox, they have 7 errors apiece.
So that is stemming a lot from the pass. We are out, the UCSB side is out of system, so they're not able to get that set in the perfect window for those hitters, and the hitters are not as efficient from the offensive standpoint.
So the Gauchos have to be back in system, have to be getting those good sets, and we're going to put the burden on Patrick Paragas. Paragas with 29 assists today. He was very strong yesterday. He has tremendous potential to make a difference today as well. Cobrine into the antenna.
And UCSB starting off with a lot more fire than we've seen. That was the most vocal we've seen this squad since the start of the match.
Just Bianchi in for the first time, aside from being a server. Even here at 1 apiece. That is the 14th service error of the day for USC. Gauchos also have 14.
And the difference between those stats is that USC is doing a great job at getting UCSB out of system when their serves are in.
Oh man, it's tough to stop something like that. Simon Gallus there for the kill, his 13th of the match.
And Simon Gallus, an international player out of Germany, adding so much to this USC squad.
Bianchi in toward the back corner, able to hit.
And Bianchi, a lefty, he's hitting opposite, and he's able to find that deep corner. Perfect placement.
Bianchi, a freshman, 6'6" out of Laguna Beach. Off hands, they keep it up. That was Tracy who kept it alive. Looking for Cobrine, and he gets it in front of the back line.
And such a fast arm there by Cobrine. He is just slicing that ball to the floor.
Now Sam Cobrine to the back line to serve. Wide and out.
And there you see that hybrid serve. So he's trying to be deceptive there. It's very lethal when it connects, but a higher probability for error.
Here's Bianchi. Into the net with the serve. Both teams plagued by errors today. Liam Schrader here. A sneak over the top from Wilcox, able to find the spot that he was looking for.
An incredibly smart placement by Ryan Wilcox. He has 3 blockers up, so he knows that the short court right over them is open.
Wilcox, a high IQ player, makes a lot of smart decisions when he's out there. Gallus off hands, Hicks kept it alive. Wilcox trying to place. Here's another chance for the Trojans. And Troy takes the point.
And Gallus, such a good outside-in approach on the right. He has that sharp angle and then also that wrist-away line. So he is hard to read.
Now Gallus ready to serve. into the net. That's a hard serve to handle if he gets it over, but neither of these teams have been placing their serves well today. Browning made contact with the net, point to Santa Barbara.
And you notice number 10, Brandon Hicks, going to a jump float serve instead of that top spin. And he actually got USC out of system more than his other serve was doing.
Back in system for Dallas. Hicks comes on out for Pexa. Here's Brandon Browning. Just Bianchi.
And Bianchi doing a great job out of the back row. He's really firing up this team, bringing some new energy to the floor.
Block at the net. They say it tipped the fingers. The wall form, Collins handles. Bianchi a chance again. This time the lefty goes straight into the twine.
And a great dig by Sam Collins in the back row. He's on his knees, using his hands to pop that ball up.
So here is Lucas Frasrind. Going back to Bianchi. Cobrine off hands. There was a three-man wall, but it tipped and went out.
And when you have that three-man block, it's so helpful when you have the skill of Cobrine to use those hands, because you are facing a wall.
Off tape, Wilcox got a piece of it. Cobrine cross court, it's in.
And line referee calling a minuscule touch on libero.
Ryan Pexa just got a piece of it.
He was laying out for that ball.
Paragas for Wilcox, the kill.
And perfect placement on that dig, allowing Patrick Paragas to go back to Ryan Wilcox, keep him involved. He's been very steady in this last set, in this fourth set.
We talked about how important Patrick Paragas is to the success of this team. He has stepped up tremendously. Wilcox pushes wide. Paragas to Bianchi. Now Paxson sets up a chance for Cobrine. Two dive, nobody can get there.
And a perfect set by libero Cole Paxson. That is a huge role for liberos. When their setter digs the first ball, they are usually responsible for that setting role.
Cole Paxson so good at picking up those digs. Sometimes you got to step into another role. This time Hall back in system for Browning, coming out of nowhere for the kill. That's three straight for USC.
And a three-man block up there against Browning, but he is just too hot to handle.
Now, we talked about how good this rotation is when it's Cobrine who's serving, but when Chris Hall is back there, it is equally as lethal. Wilcox sent to Hall's hands. Here's a chance for Cobrine. He's met at the net by a wall for the Gauchos. Bianchi and Tracy send it back where it came from.
And a great stop there for UCSB. That is a tough rotation. USC very powerful there.
Here's Reese Tracy. That one out.
And those are the serves where you want to keep them in. You're going for the jump float, which has a lower error than the jump topspin serve. So you really want to make sure to keep those within the lines.
Now back to Sam Cobrine. Misdirection from Hicks. The dive. Hall got to it. Just not enough air on it to get that ball over the net.
And Brandon Hicks able to keep that ball live. He's using his left hand to tip that ball over. Looks like the set from Patrick Paragas drifted a little wide.
For Brandon Hicks, that's his 8th kill of the afternoon, the most he's had over the last 2 years, his career high at 10. Great serve from Bianchi for the ace. Just hits the tape and drops.
And it doesn't get shorter than that. That ball just trickling, teetering on the UCSB side, the USC side, and then falling at probably the 1-inch line.
Bianchi again. Wow, the block, so Peksak kept it up. There's Bianchi, the secret weapon, and the point. Gauchos cut it even.
And a great team effort by UCSB. That's what they look like when they're playing their best. They are laying it out there, keeping the ball up, and then finishing strong on the attack.
Back to even here in set 4. Santa Barbara needs this set to stay alive. Gauchos on a 3-0 run, ended by that service error. Here's Liam Schrader. Schrader hit 83% yesterday. Today it's 62%. Collins looking to place and does. Sam Collins with the kill.
And a great play there. The pass was a little tight. Patrick Paragas using his vertical to jump set that ball and keep it in that window for Sam Collins.
Collins with a career high 6 kills today. And there's Wilcox able to handle on the out-of-system reception error.
And Ryan Wilcox so comfortable in those tough plays, and that is just showing his experience.
Here's Collins. Browning blocked. That was Paragas, the setter, who did it. And too strong on the chance from USC. Gauchos now extend the lead to 2. Timeout taken by the Trojans of Troy. Gauchos getting into their groove, coming into the break with a 3-0 run. It's the UCSB A6 Invitational.
Local family-owned restaurant, we dedicate as much to our community as we do to the quality of our food. Because all great businesses are inspired by great people. Like Kyle, our inspiration. Kyle's Kitchen, where you eat great food and help great people.
The human body is in a constant state of recovery. But healing isn't a life sentence. It's a choice. When it's adversity that fuels us to push the limits of what we're capable of. We commit ourselves to the reach. Whether an injury is years, days, or hours old, your recovery begins now. When the goal is excellence and pain isn't an option, the solution is simple. We are Pro Band. You bring the talent, we bring the relief.
Back here in Rob Gym with the Gauchos up 2 in set 4. It's a 2-1 advantage in favor of USC for the match. The Gauchos have the advantage in this set. They need this one to stay alive. So here is Sam Collins looking to extend a 3-0 scoring run. Out of the break, it hits the tape and pushes wide.
And a good timeout by USC to stop that momentum by Sam Collins on the service line.
Here is Gallus, the kills leader for the Trojans. He's at 15. And another service error. Combined today, that's the 36th between these two teams.
Let's see what serve Brandon Hicks chooses right now. Looks like he's going for the jump float.
Browning straight in between Hicks and Collins. Browning with the double-double yesterday. He has 8 digs today as well, leading the Trojans. Paragas for Wilcox. Similar story, can they keep it up? Bianchi dove, nobody could get there.
And USC has definitely improved their blocking tonight. They're doing such a great job at not only getting those statistical blocks, but also slowing down tough hits with a nice controlled block touch.
This USC team is certainly better than the teams they've had over the last couple of seasons. They're coming off a year in which they went 5-13, including 5-12 in conference play. The year prior to that, not much either. You know, this team has struggled for the last couple, but they look really good this year. The experience is shining through.
And Brandon Browning with a couple of insane digs on the USC side. Number one, he is going back to serve. He is just laying it all out there, but also reading the hitters surprisingly well.
You look at Browning, a senior, Cole Paxson, a redshirt senior, Chris Hall, a redshirt senior, Sam Cobrine, a graduate. The experience on this team is impeccable, and for Santa Barbara, the majority of this team, they're second-year players who had very minimal experience over the last couple of seasons because of how good that team has been. This Gaucho team has to work on something. I'm not quite sure what it is, but USC is on a 4-0 run, looking to close this one out in 4 sets for the UCSB A6 Invitational.
UC Santa Barbara, where beauty meets brilliance. A dynamic environment that prizes academic inquiry and creativity to generate discoveries with wide-ranging impact. We are diverse in our pursuits, yet connected in our collective drive toward excellence. We are community-driven and globally focused, independent thinkers and consensus builders. This inspirational setting, this collaborative community, this is UC Santa Barbara.
Both teams playing like they remember yesterday. USC had momentum with that 5-set victory. UC Santa Barbara had momentum at the start of the match, lost it. Gauchos won the first set today. USC has won the next 2. Trojans currently on a 4-0 scoring run, looking to put away this match in the 4th set. Brandon Browning flexible as ever, does some yoga on the floor to keep it up. And the block at the net, that is Chris Hall and Lucas Frasrind.
And the USC defense is just steady right now. Brandon Browning, Cole Paxson, Simon Gallus getting it up in the back row. And then the front row really sealing on the block.
How about Chris Hall, the 6'2" setter, able to climb the ladder for the block? Browning goes long. That ends a 5-0 scoring run.
And let's look to see how UCSB responds. There we saw USC again with a late run at the end of a set.
Gallus into the hands and out. Katie, a question for you. You talked about, and we've seen over the last couple of matches, that UC Santa Barbara is being more quiet toward the end of a set, right? USC gaining ground. What do you attribute that to?
I think UCSB is young and they're figuring out how to stay steady throughout the set and throughout the match. And that's what they're going to need to learn throughout this season and try to take away from these preseason tournaments.
We're going to stay with you here. Trojans up 4 over UC Santa Barbara, looking to make this 4th set the final set today. Simon Gallus had 17 kills yesterday. Today he's topped this Trojan team with 16, including this 6-1 scoring run. Sam Cobrine led the way with 18 yesterday. Today he has 15. It's clear who they're going to, but the Gauchos just haven't had an answer.
And USC doing a great job at keeping UCSB uncomfortable. They are going for their serve and causing that UCSB pass to be off the net. So it's making it very difficult for UCSB to be efficient in their offense.
Well, you talk about efficiency. Ryan Wilcox has struggled today, and this is the Gauchos' heart. That's the heartbeat for this team. But Wilcox with 10 errors today, it's just not a winning formula.
And an opportunity for UCSB to get other guys involved. Ryan Wilcox is going to be the core of this team, but they're going to need other players to step up, not only when Ryan Wilcox may be struggling, but all the time. They need multiple weapons on the floor.
Tian Shaw with 13 kills today. He leads the way for the Gauchos, but their 2 most effective hitters, both hitting under 200. Paragas for Wilcox, that's the guy we know and love.
And that's what it looks like when UCSB can get that first contact to the net. Ryan Wilcox is unstoppable. Paragas doing a great job at feeding him the ball.
Wilcox with the service error. That's the 20th of the afternoon for the Gauchos. USC, the penultimate match point. Chris Hall. Gauchos stay alive.
And a big point there. UCSB has just a little bit more room for that comeback, but they're going to need to string together a few points here.
Reese Tracy here. The block from Hicks, he's solo and he sent it back where it came from.
And number 10, Brandon Hicks, showing all of that heart at the net. He is just gunning. He knows he needs a stop for his squad.
Tracy. This is a good look for Santa Barbara. Wow, Paxson able to handle. Another chance for Hicks, and this time he finishes. Gauchos cut it to just a piece.
And Hicks again working so hard to be available and ready for that set. Cole Paxson on the USC side showing his veteran experience with an amazing dig.
Can the Gauchos pull off this comeback in the set? Just a touch too long. Match point coming up for USC.
And a big celebration on the USC side. That is a free point for match point.
Here's Sam Cobrine. We've seen him do it all this weekend. If there was a tournament team, he'd certainly be on it. And the finish for the Trojans. Number 11, UC Santa Barbara falls to the Trojans for the second straight day. And that'll do it for the UCSB A6 Invitational. Simon Callis led the way with 16 kills. Sam Cobrine had 15. That was 11 digs for Brandon Browning, 44 assists for Chris Hall. And the Trojans win 3-1, a 4-set match over UC Santa Barbara.
And a good opportunity here for both teams to see each other once again. USC came out powerful tonight. They had the confidence from that comeback win last night, and they have experience. And so they knew they had it in their side of the court to dominate this game, and that's what they did.
Gauchos struggled in terms of efficiency, hit 205 for the game as opposed to 343 for the Trojans. And that includes the fourth set in which UC Santa Barbara hit just 16%. That's a struggling team. It's a team of inexperienced players with tremendous talent, tremendous potential, but the puzzle pieces just haven't fit quite yet, Katie.
And Max, you and I talk a lot about service errors. You see UCSB with 21 service errors, USC with 19. The difference that you don't see there in those numbers is that USC was putting a lot of pressure on UCSB when they were making those serves. UCSB had a hard time getting USC out of system, and big props to Cole Paxson and the rest of the passers on USC for really diming those passes, getting them right to their setter.
Now the side-out percentage for the Gauchos in the first set at 85%, and then in the following three sets, 58, 60, and 58. Gauchos just weren't able to get USC off the serving line, and ultimately it helped the Trojans to the victory this afternoon. So UC Santa Barbara will be back in action next Tuesday at 3 o'clock. But until then, from Rob Jim with a 3-1 finish in favor of the Trojans. A huge thank you to everybody that makes our crew possible. Jerry Fall, Reed Thomas, Art Philippi, Grayson